All right, welcome to week five, sorry, of CNET56. Let me share my screen real quick. And screen one. All right, so last week we ended up where we mentioned IP addresses, and it's important to understand that they're typically arranged in classes, with class A, class B, class C, and then class D is for multicasting, and then class E is experimental. And class A is where the first number in the dotted decimal will be from 0 to 126. Class B will be from 128 to 191. And then class C will be from 192 all the way to 223. And then the class D is 224, and then everything else is experimental or class E. All right. So within those IP addresses, we have two types of addresses, either known as a public IP address or a private IP address. And the public IP address are routable on the internet. A private IP address is not routable on the internet. And the private IP address ranges for class A is 10.anything. Private IP address for class B is 172.16.anything through 172.31.anything. And then class C private is 192.168.anything. All right. Now, most of our networking today is going to use what is known as classless interdomain routing, or CIDR notation. And what that means is you count the number of ones in the subnet mask. So for example, if I have let's go back to our subnet mask here, where we had that. No. Well, my subnet mask, if it's 255.255.255.0, the number of ones in the first octet is 8, second octet is 8, third octet is 8, the last octet is 0. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24. We would use the slash or CIDR notation and refer to that as a /24 network. All right. So let me, I'm going to leave this network address translation for you to look at, but I do want to talk about the network address. So I'm going to share my other camera. Give me a second. All right. So before we get too far into that information, first thing I want to do is discuss the AND gate. And the AND gate is, if you've taken digital electronics, CNET56, you've seen this before, but the AND gate is symbolized by a 2-input, 1-output gate that has, a straight line and the circle on there. The mathematical symbol for it is a plus sign. And the way you read this truth table is you say if A is 0 and B is 0, Y, the output, will be 0. If A is 0 and B is 1, the output is 0. If A is 1 and B is 0, the output is 0. And then if A is high, or 1, and B is 1, the output will be 1. So you can see that the only time this gate is true, or where you get an output of 1, is if both inputs are a 1. Okay. So the way we work with our network ID is, first thing we do is we take our address 10.28.72.87 and we put it in binary. So we say 10 is 00001010, 28 is 0001 1010, 72 is 0101 0000, 87 is then 0101 01111. Okay, and then we take our subnet mask, which was 255.255.255.0. And by the way, this is our network in room 404. And we put 255 is all ones, 255 is all ones, 255 is all ones, and then 0 is all zeros. And then what we do is we AND those together. Okay, so we take the AND operator, and we know 0 and 1 is 0, 0 and 1 is 0, 0 and 1 is 0. And if we go back to our truth table here, we know that the only time it's true is when both inputs are a 1. Okay, so we can kind of speed up this process a little bit and say, where do I have ones? Right here, that's true. Right here, that's true. Here, that's true. Here, that's true. Here, that's true. And you see this top number, because it's ANDed with ones, will come straight down. So we get 10.28.72. Now, the interesting part is this last octet, 87 and 0, anything ANDed with a 0, right? If we come back over here, anytime any of our inputs are 0, the output is always 0. So we know that anything ANDed with 0 is always going to be 0. So then our network ID becomes 10.28.72.0. Okay. So then the next piece of the puzzle that we need to understand, and let me stop this share and share my other screen again. So that's the network ID. So there's the AND gate. And there's an example there of 192.168.1.15 with 255.255.255.0. So if we AND that together, we know that 192 and ones, all ones is 192. 168 and all ones is 168. 1 and 255 is 1. And then 15 and 0 will be 0. So our subnet map or our network ID will become 192.168.1.0. Okay. So here's another example. And I'll put these slides in your PowerPoint so you'll have those. All right. And then there's another one. And now let's talk about the broadcast ID. So the network ID is the network. And then how far does it go to? When does the network stop? The last bit is, or the last IP address of our network is the broadcast ID. So the broadcast address is a logical address in which all devices connected are unable to receive communication. So that means they're in the same network. So to work with the broadcast ID, we need to look at the OR gate. So I'm going to switch over to my other camera. All right, so if we look at the OR gate, got the phone right here. All right, so the OR gate looks like this. So we still have our inputs, but now we have the beveled corner there. And the way we read this is A or B is 0 if both of the inputs are 0. 0 or 0 is 0. 0 or 1 is 1. 1 or 0 is 1. And 1 or 1 is 1. So we notice the only time this is not true is when both of our inputs are zeros. Okay, so it's the opposite of the AND gate, right? The AND gate is only true when both inputs are high or ones. That's the only time we get an output of 1. The OR gate, we always get a 1 unless both inputs are low. Okay, so let's come back over to our example here. And what we need to do with to get the broadcast ID is, first thing we need to do is write down our network ID in binary again. So we'll do 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. Okay. Actually, that's not correct. This last one is the network ID, not the IP address. So this is just 8 zeros. Okay. And then we take our subnet mask and we invert it. So wherever we have ones, we're going to make that zeros. So instead of 255.255.255.0, this will become 0.0.0.255. So this will be and then this last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then what we want to do is OR this. And I should have mentioned this when we were back here, but the mathematical symbol for the OR gate is the multiplier. Okay, so if you see plus, it means and. If you see multiply, that is OR. So again, if we look at our truth table, the only time we get all zeros is the only time we'll get 0 is if it's 0 or 0. Every other time we'll get everything else down. So this is all ORed with all zeros. So that means this comes straight down. And then 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then anything ORed with 0 is that same thing. Just like anything ANDed with 0 is the same one. So 1 or 0 is always going to be 1. So this will come down as 255, right? So then I end up with my broadcast ID is 10.28.72.255. Okay, because the 8 ones in the last octet means 255. So this is my broadcast ID. All right. So let me just rewrite this here. Pen. The Sharpie is kind of dying on me. So my network ID is 10.28.72.0. My broadcast ID is 10.28.72.255. So if I were to say, what are my usable IP addresses, I would go one more than here would be .1, and then one less than here would be 254. So my usable IP address, so this is network ID, broadcast ID, usable, would be 10.28.72.1 through 10.28.72.254. All right. So that's how we calculate the subnet mask or the network ID, the broadcast ID, and the usable IP range. Okay. So let me come back over to my other screen. All right. So here is an example where we invert the subnet mask, and then we OR it with the network address, the network ID. Now you see the network address and network ID are interchangeable. It's the same thing. All right. So if you're on a job interview and somebody said, what is the first and last usable IP address for 192.168.10.25? And they gave you the subnet mask at 255.255.255. Now notice it's not 0 in that last octet, it's 192. So with the 192, it's not 8 zeros in that last octet. It's 2 ones, 128 plus 64 is 192, and then 6 zeros. So there are 6 zeros. So when you do the AND, it will drop down with that 25 and 192, and you'll get a different value there. Okay. And then what is the network and broadcast address for these networks? Was the network so here's where you'll see how some of these different solutions come through. All right, now we're going to come back and you can see these answers in the PowerPoint. And again, I'm going to upload this PowerPoint to Canvas for you. But you can see that where we're going with this is that we're going to start doing some of these calculations every single week. So in each of the PowerPoint or each of the videos I'm going to make each week, we'll go through and we'll work on some of these. So my goal is that you'll be an expert at all this before the end of the term. All right, and then if you go through the rest of the PowerPoint, it talks about ports, sockets, DNS, NAT, and then some of the troubleshooting tools, which you've discussed in the last week's discussion board or the discussion forum. All right, so I'm going to stop this video before it gets too long, and I'll see you on Thursday.